Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chase's Org Thingy Season 6, Episode 11. This is our All-Star season, and we are finally down to the final 13, which means that there's now a 50% chance that we merge, or 50% chance that we stay the same, since we can't swap into tribes. And Pancake decided that we were going to merge, so we have finally merged, meaning that making the merge, I'll read off the 13 people really quick, is Nathan, Jack, Asher, Evan, my winner pick, just saying, Cosmo, Deku, Nevid, JB, Bayback, Mothgod, Chase, Jace, and Jaffe. So now we have just merged and no messages have been sent out. I haven't read any confessionals, so I have no idea how the initial landscape is going to change. But I am going to give you my predictions, my reads of everyone's game, how I think they're going to do in this merge, and just give you a general landscape. All of them have also made the jury, since Joey was voted out last time and is our first jury member. So all of them have made merge, and all of them have made jury. So also, the list is in no particular order. I have a list written down of the tribes from the last swap. That was in the order Pancake picked, so I just put one tribe up, one tribe bottom. So I just went with that random order. So first up is Nathan. Now, Nathan, I think, is in a pretty good position to make it far. He has ins with Asher and Chase. He also has ins with JB, Deku, and Evan. So he's kind of a part of all these little sub-alliances, these tight trios that are forming to build this one kind of big alliance. He's at odds with Bayback a little bit, but it's more one-sided. He wants Bayback out, but Bayback doesn't want him out and doesn't know that Nathan wants him out. He may suspect it a little bit, but no one's really after Nathan. He's managed to slide pretty under the radar for the most part, and so far he's playing really good. He's playing a good social game. He's playing a good under-the-radar game. No one's looking his direction, but he's still in a place of power where if he wants somebody to go home, they go home. And his alliance makes sure that they go home. So Nathan is in a pretty good spot. I would predict that he would get probably... I'll predict he makes it to the finale, that kind of top 5 area. He could very easily make it to Final Tribal, I think. But right now, I don't think he's playing a flashy enough game to win. But, as I said, it's just Final 13 right now. So, honestly, I wouldn't be playing a flashy enough game to win right now. And if you are, you probably aren't going to make it to the end unless you're one of like 2 or 3 people. But I think Nathan is one of the safest picks to make it very far in this merge. And if you make it far, that means that you have a better chance of winning. So I think if Nathan goes around Final 5 to Final 8 and starts to pick it up and play a more explosive role, a more kind of leadership, flashier moves type thing, where he starts to take way more control of his game. Not that he's not in control of it now, but I think Nathan has a good shot of making it really far. And if he can really step things up and decides when is the time to start to play hard, I think he could win the game. Jack, I think, he's kind of inactive this season just because he's had a lot of IRL stuff going on. He's still been a big part of this game, but he has a lot of stuff with work going on. And he's also said that this is probably the last org he'll ever play. So, Jack, I'm happy to have you on your last org if it is. I love you. Always be happy to have the infamous cowboy back. But Jack's been playing all right. He's a little bit under the radar. He's kind of in good with Evan and Deku, and then he targeted Deku last round, or was persuaded to by Joey to vote towards Deku, and then Asher persuaded Jack to not. He's in a weird rivalry with Cosmo. So Jack, I think, will probably go a little bit early. It depends on how the merge landscape goes. If they target more inactive people first, I think Jack will be one of the more easier votes to go for. But if they just target the huge threats, Jack may be able to slip into that Final 5, Final 8 range. That kind of middle of the pack. So I'd predict 8 to 10 would be about the safe prediction with Jack. But I think, honestly, Jack's kind of a wild card. He could go anywhere in this merge. Next up, we have Asher. Asher is also playing a very similar game to Nathan, where he's pretty under the radar. He's in the big alliance that Nathan's in with him, Chase, JB, Evan, and Deku. By him, I meant Nathan beforehand. So he's in a good, powerful position. I think of him, Nathan, and Chase, he'll probably be targeted first. And I think that of those three, he's played the flashiest game and probably has the biggest odds of winning it. So I feel like Asher could get to Final 3 and could have a good chance of winning, but I feel like Asher's going to go out that Final 5 to Final 8 range. I don't know, that's just the feeling that I'm getting for Asher, is that 5 to 8. I think he's going to be able to make it far, but I think he's going to get screwed over in some random way that none of us can predict. I don't know why I feel that, I just feel that. Next up is Evan. Evan was my preseason winner pick. I said it at the very start, and he's still going strong. He has the only idol in the game right now, although we are going to hide another idol in there now that it's merged. But Evan has the only idol right now. He's a part of that big alliance. I think he's going more under the radar in that big alliance. I think Deku and JB are taking most of the flack for it. And I think even if they target JB and Deku and take them out, he still has that avenue with Nathan, Asher, and Chase. And I think Evan is playing a really good social game and very under the radar. So honestly, I still feel very comfortable with an Evan winner pick. I think he's playing an amazing game. He's playing very under the radar, so I think he can make it very far. And I think if he makes it to FTC, assuming he's not sitting next to JB, I think he has a very good shot at actually winning this, because I think he's playing a under the radar that will get respect because he found all these idols, because he's set up all of this stuff. And I think that's going to get a lot of respect from this jury. Next up is Cosmo. I have no idea where to place Cosmo. He's not a part of any big alliances, but no one really wants him out. You know, like, I feel like on everyone's trust rankings, he's kind of mid-tier. I think he's going to have a target on his back just because he's really, really, really good at these challenges. And I feel like Cosmo will probably go out that Final 10 to Final 8 range, just because he's going to have a big target on his back for being good at challenges and being a challenge threat. I think someone like JB is going to target him soon, and I think Jack wants him gone too because of that weird rivalry. I could definitely see Cosmo being an earlier merge boot just because of that, but I feel like he's going to win 2 or 3 immunities, and then as soon as he doesn't win that next one, like 2 or 3 in a row, and as soon as he doesn't win that next one, he's going to go home. I think Cosmo's still playing a really good game. He's the last Season 5 representative left, but I feel like it's similar to that game that he played in Season 5, where he's pretty under the radar going into merge. You have 1 or 2 people that really want him out, but I think if they overly push for Cosmo, that they might go home instead. But I feel like Cosmo's going to go kind of that early mid, because Final 13, get to 10-8. That's my read on Cosmo's game, but I'm not entirely sure if it will go that way. Cosmo could honestly win out and go to FTC, because he's that good at challenges. And that's the main reason why I think he'll be targeted soon, because as soon as he doesn't have that immunity necklace around his neck, I think people are going to start looking out for him. Next up is Deku. I think Deku is in a very powerful position and a powerful spot. I think they're going to play too hard for JB, meaning that they're going to get targeted very early, and I think Deku will be the first or second casualty of that big alliance if they get targeted and they get taken out earlier. I think if that 6 makes it to the final 6, I have no idea what's going to happen or who's going to be the first boot then, but I think if someone gets out before that final 6, if like that alliance gets broken apart at some point, which it inevitably probably will because it's an all-stars, I feel like Deku's going to be that first or second casualty of that group because they see how close they are to JB. And I think Deku also has a fair target on their back for being really good at challenges, and also has had a target on their back from the start of this game, because people have been saying for most of this game that they want Deku out. So I feel like Deku's either going to be 13-10 or Final Tribal. Like, Deku's just playing one of those games where they're going to go out really early or they're going to make it really far. And I genuinely have no idea where they stack up in that regard, or where they'll end up. Next up, we have Nevid. Nevid is also in a weird spot. I think Nevid is someone that screams merge boot, just because he keeps targeting JB so hard. I think that people are going to realize that, and JB and her crew are just going to go after Nevid and take him out. So I could see Nevid going 13 or 12, but Nevid's also one of those things where if Nevid wins that battle and does get out JB or does get out Deku, I feel like Nevid could go very far in this game, and that he plays such a good social game in such an interesting strategic game that even if he does get JB out and his side kind of wins, because right now it's looking to be a Nevid JB leadership battle for this first boot area, but I feel like if Nevid does win that war, that Nevid could absolutely get top 5, absolutely make it to FTC, and I think if Nevid makes it to FTC, he's either going to get first or second, because Nevid's never won because he always, in his words, always chokes at FTC, just like kind of like how we saw in Season 3, where he came in as the odds-on favorite, but Jonas worked it out and got the win because he worded it so well. But I think Nevid has learned a lot from his past FTCs. I think if Nevid comes in as the favorite at FTC, he can easily come out of it with a win. Next up under Nevid is JB. JB is either going to win or go out first. She is playing one of the best games that I have ever seen for pre-merge. She took out Soccer, she took out Toaster, number 1 and number 2 on the power rankings. She's played an idol, she has flipped allies. She has so many people that like her because she has Evan and Deku, she has Nathan, Asher, and Chase, but she also has Bayback, and that's their 7th, and that would be enough for a majority. And Bayback also has Joffy. Or at least they're close, but Joffy's also close with Nevid. Joffy's in a weird position, but I'll get to that. Joffy's at the very bottom, so I'll go over him last, actually. But I think JB has a lot of really close connections with a lot of people on this cast, and she could be very dangerous. If she makes it past the first or second vote, I think she has a very good shot at winning this game. I feel like she could easily go out around 4 or 5. I could see somebody taking her out right at that finish line just because they don't want her to win. They want to win and they want to take her out. And it's a game for $50, so I think that's more incentive to take out that bigger threat versus a game that has nothing on the line and is more for bragging rights. I think this is more incentive to try and make that extra cut to the end. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Because I have brought JB to the end to my detriment and lost to her in FTC. If JB makes FTC, she's won. I don't think a single person on this cast could beat her in an FTC, not only because she is a god at FTCs, but also the game that she has played and will have to play to make it to FTC. There's just no way. I see no future that JB loses if she makes it to FTC. I think she wins it hands down. And JB, once again, is another player that I see going out either next 3 votes or makes it top 5. I don't see her going out 7th or 8th. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. I see her making it very far or going out right now. Next up is Bayback. I think Bayback is actually someone that will go in the middle. I think that 5 to 8 range. I feel like every time I watch Bayback, he goes around the middle mark. Went out 7th, I think, in Season 1. Yes, 7th, yeah. 7th in Season 1, went out 10th in Season 4. So both times we're in that middle part. Most of the times that I play with Bayback or see him play, he goes out in that middle-ish area. I don't think he's going to have a target on his back soon, especially because he has 2 strikes. I think he can use those 2 strikes very well strategically of look, I'm being pretty inactive, don't take me out. But I think some people like Nathan are going to have a target on him and want him out. I honestly see Bayback being the breaking point of that 6-person alliance, not because he's going to do anything, but because I think Nathan might try to make a move on him, and Bayback is going to have to try and work with troops. But I think that it's more likely that Nathan's side will win, because I think if you have like a Jack and Cosmo and Nevid still in the game, just because I've already gone through their games. But I feel like if you have those people in the game, they're going to be way more likely to take out Bayback than they are Nathan, because of Bayback's threat level throughout this entire franchise series. It's Bayback, you know. So I see Bayback going out around 5 to 8-ish, maybe 8 to 10, but that like 5 to 10 range. I feel like he's going to make it a little bit farther into the 5 to 8. But somewhere in the middle of the game, I see him going out. I don't see him going out soon, but I also don't see him making it to FTC. Next up is Moth God. Moth God is another very interesting position because he just keeps getting left out of votes left and right. I think there's probably been 4 times that he's been blindsided this game, and people have started those blindsides with, do you just want to go for Moth? Yeah, sure. And then someone else is like, no, we have to go for this person, or somebody else overplays. Cough, cough, Toaster. I love you, Toaster. You're my son. But but I see Moth God, he could either be a very early, like 12, 13, 11 boot if they want someone easy, but I could also see Moth God sneaking his way in and making it far. And I think if he makes it far, he would have to do a lot to have a game that was worth winning. But if people underestimate Moth God and Moth God makes it into that top 9, top 10, or top 9, top 8 area, I could see him make a big move around there. And then people keep underestimating him, and he could have a pathway to victory that I could see. Next up is Chase. Worst Chase, obviously no shot at winning. But I think Chase is very similar to Asher and Nathan. I think that tight 3 is all playing very similar games. They're playing pretty under the radar. I think they're have a good shot of making it far. And I see them... I could honestly see all 3 of them making top 5. I feel like Chase is probably going to be the one targeted last out of Asher and Nathan. But I also feel like Chase has the most likely odds of going to FTC with somebody that he can't beat in a JB or Evan type situation. So Chase is interesting. I think he's going to make top 8. I see him going out that 5 to 8 range. I'm not sure he's going to get in that top 5. Just because, I don't know. Actually, he's probably will get in the top 5. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea where to put Chase, because Chase is a really good player. Like, I hate to say it, but Chase is a really good player. So I could see him... I see him going far, definitely. I think if that 6-person alliance gets broken up very soon, I see him making it far. I'm going to say top 5. I'm going to predict that Chase gets top 5, even though I'm probably predicting more than 5 people making it to top 5. But I see Chase making it to that top 5 area, and I could see him making FTC. Next up is Jace. Jace is very similar to Moth God. He's been left out of most of the votes, and his name has just been thrown around willy-nilly. I see Jace going out around 10th place. He doesn't have a lot of social capital right now. I know he's going through a lot of IRL, so that definitely doesn't help his case of, like, he doesn't have as much free time as some other people. So I see Jace going out kind of early. He has the winner target on his back, so I think he's going to be a bigger target left in this game. He is the last winner left, though. But I see him going out a little bit sooner, around that final 10. Probably not the first merge boot, but probably a little bit soon after. He's probably going to be that first kind of calm vote that's not chaotic. So yeah, that's kind of where I see Jace going. And then the final person, Joffy. One thing to mention, today is Joffy's 100th day in-game. He is the first person to ever hit 100 days in Chase's org thingy. Now, it's not 100 days straight, but still 100 days. That's awesome. His third time making merge. Bayback, it's also his third time making merge. So congratulations to both of you. Oh, and on that thing, another stat. Moth God is the only pre-juror, technically. Oxy went out pre-jury in Season 1, but made FTC in Season 4. So Moth God is the only person that's playing in this that has not made merge before. Moth God made merge, so congratulations, Moth God. But for Jaffe, I think Jaffe is going to make it far again. I see him going out that 5 to 8 range. I think he has a very good social game, and I feel like he's playing the middle fairly well because he can side with a Bayback or he can side with a Nathan. A Nevin. He can side with Nathan too. But I think he's very close with Bayback. He's very close with Nathan, who are both on very opposite ends. So I think Jaffe is going to do what he normally does and go with the majority, go with the flow. And I think he does it very well. He stays safe. He stays very social, so nobody really wants to get him out of the game. And I see him making it far, that, as I said, that top 5 to 8 range. So I think Jaffe is someone that could be very dangerous going forward, but I think Jaffe has a road to make it to FTC, and that road is to get out that 6-person pack, that big alliance. I think if that alliance crumbles, Jaffe could very easily make top 5 and probably make it to FTC, but I think that his downfall will be if that 6 does stick together, and they do end up winning this first vote, and they do continue to actually work together and stick together. I think Jaffe is going to be one of the final casualties of the other players, but I still think he's going to be a casualty before that 6 starts to break up, if they stick together and make it far. So that's why I see him going out 5 to 8 range, probably 7th or 8th. But Jaffe is a very safe bet most of the time to make it very far, just because he's so social and usually goes with the flow, so he doesn't really piss anybody off, and he makes very smart, sound decisions. So yeah, that's my breakdown. This took 22 minutes, so thank you for listening. I'll just upload this as its own video. You know what? I'll do that, because I'm giving everyone a full day to go through stuff, and the first merge boot is always chaotic. So I'm just going to call an audible. I didn't plan for this to be its own separate video, but you know what? It's its own separate video now. So thank you all for watching this video. I'm curious to see who you all think can make it farthest, who your winner picks are. Obviously, if you're watching this after the season ends and you know who wins, please do not spoil anything. But if you're just now getting here and don't know anything past this point, let me know your predictions. Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to go far? I'm really curious to see what everyone says. And this should be a really fun merge. These are 13 really good players. I think all of them have a path to victory and could win, even the ones that I said that I think will go out earlier. But I think all of them can pull out a win. They're all capable enough of winning this game. They're all very good players. And I know that I mentioned that there's that tight 6-person alliance, but I feel like they're all good enough players to know that someone's got to break away from it first. So I don't see that 6 just running the entire game until Final 6, and then they fight it out there. I see them breaking apart around Final 8, Final 9, I'd say. That would be my prediction anyways, but I'm not sure who would be the first casualty and who would fall and what side would win out in that regard. So it should be really interesting to watch this go down. And I'm just, as a host, I'm very happy that this is how the season is turning out. I think everything is going great. And yeah, I'm loving this season. My host bias this is my favorite season so far. I mean, it's an all-star season, so of course it's my favorite season. And now that we're merged, can't throw a challenge now. As Jay said in the spectator chat, I'd like to see y'all try and throw a challenge now, motherfuckers. So yeah, you can't really throw a challenge to get somebody out. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm actually going to end it now. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great day.